Today in higher learning, student loan debt is a growing problem that is often the topic of conversation. But it isn't just a problem facing 20-somethings. It's actually an issue for middle-aged Americans and for the parents of young students. And here to talk about this problem is Peter Kerwin from the Rhode Island Higher Education Assistance Authority. Good morning.
Good morning, Mary.
So when we talk about this, we're thinking the 20-somethings, but it's actually people who are middle-aged, older, not just fresh out of college. Tell us a little bit about that.
Exactly. I mean, there have been a couple of reports recently. I mean, when we think about it, we usually think of those 20-somethings coming out of college who are taking on historic levels of debt and facing a really tough job market. But there have been a couple of stories that came out in the last few weeks which show that the fastest growing segment of student loan debt holders is actually from those non-traditional older students, 35 to 49 years old, and that parents now are starting to take on a lot more debt than ever before.
And why is this so concerning?
Well, I mean, especially, let's talk first about the older non-traditional students. I mean, the same forces that are kind of driving, the economy that's facing the young people coming out of college is kind of driving these older non-traditional students to go back to college.
Yes.
Because, traditionally when the economy's not doing well, you try to go back to school, improve those job skills as a way of maybe getting a better job down the line. There was a study done by Reuters and Campus Progress, took a look at a study by this Credit Karma site, which analyzed 3 million bits of credit data, showed that group of students from 35 to 49 years old is now responsible for a bigger part of the market. They've grown 47% over the last 3 years. They're taking on a lot more student debt. And it's being fueled in some cases by those for-profit colleges, which don't always do a great job they do a great job of advertising, but what they don't always do is deliver the kind of education that leads to positive results in terms of a better job. And you're also talking about an age group that, because of where they are, they've got a shorter time horizon to pay that money back. They're going to be butting right up against that time when they should be saving for their retirement, and instead they're going to be worried about paying back private loans.
Yeah, and the other concern, of course, is the parents of the students.
Exactly. We saw a study that came out. A guy named Mark Kantrowitz has a great website called finaid.org, and he reported that the parent loans from the federal government are now responsible for $100 billion of that marketplace of loans. And that's 10% of the market. That's grown over 75% since 2005, 2006. And what's happening is those parents used to take out second mortgages, but now because of the housing bubble, the equity on their house isn't that great, so now they're being forced to take out these loans, which again, that's going to eat into their retirement. So it really forces, parents really need to be sensible and make those hard choices, work with their students to make sure that what they're doing is affordable and isn't going to create high levels of debt for the student and for themselves.
All right. Well, thank you. This is all very, very important information. And, I think you're right that it isn't just the students who have currently just left, but everyone, going up, whether they're going back to school or those parents. So
right. It's a broader problem.
It is. It is. Well, thank you so much for coming in. And if you'd like to learn more about avoiding student debt at any age, head to WPRI.com.